It's a beautiful Friday night for some fights in Dallas, Texas. Welcome into a special Friday night broadcast as Fury FC brings you Fury FC 69 Jones versus Cuts live on UFC Fight Pass. But first, we get it going with our prelims with some of the brightest talent. Welcome in, I'm Raheel Ramzanali, joined by the black belts himself, Michael Alexander, the future champ, UFC veteran, Alex Morono. And it is time for these fighters to unleash the Fury. Man, what a card we have. But first, these amateurs and these great prelim cards.
Yeah, big night in Dallas, Texas tonight. A big Friday night show. We're used to doing these on Sundays, so happy to do it on a Friday night. Good start to the weekend.
Absolutely. Let's get this going and join the fourth member of our broadcast team, the best dressed man in MMA, Wayne Legume.
Good evening, fight fans, and welcome to Gilley's in downtown Dallas, Texas for Fury Fighting Championship 69, Jones versus Cuts. But first, please welcome to the cage for your opening undercard contest, Jones Sanchez.
Joel Sanchez, man, good amateur to get us going. Just fought at Fury Amateur Series 38. He beat Caleb Yarbrough via an armbar. Looks really poised for, his second time in the cage, or second time in the cage, because he has 2 fights under his belt, but second time here in the Fury Amateur cage. Good way to get us going, man.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you see these guys in here, we always say this, that, if it's their debut or if they got 1 or 2 fights in, we wonder how they're gonna act. Alex, they hardly ever act any different than most of the pros. They're starting so young these days. It's almost like they're pros when they come in here.
Yeah, especially on these highly touted pro cards, these pro-ams. They always usually save the pretty experienced amateurs. So, he's undefeated at 2-0. His opponent's 3-1. This is a really good, relatively high-level amateur fight to start us off.
Joel Sanchez has 4 fights in 6 months, including some kickboxing as well. Has a kickboxing background, does Joel, so it's going to be fun to see that. But nice to see Joel already get a win via submission, so that's going to be a nice improvement, something to build upon as well for the kickboxer.
Yeah, anytime I'm looking on Tapology or any of those, whenever kind of researching these fighters, I always kind of look, and if they have kickboxing experience, I kind of assume, there's not a lot of footage on these. We've seen a couple of these guys before, there's not a lot of footage, so you always assume they're going to want to be a striker. And then to see somebody come out and finish a fight with an armbar makes you think this is a well-rounded guy who might be a pro pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, you see he's got the Muay Thai shorts on. When I was on the local scene, I would actually fight in Thai shorts, and I had a majority win by submissions. It's just a fun kind of trick to show how well-rounded you are.
All right, so Joel getting the final checkups done inside, raising his hands, letting the crowd know he is here. And we will toss it to Wayne now to meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Armando Zuniga.
Armando Zuniga, the lanky fighter, 3-1 record, 3rd time fighting here for Fury in the amateur division, 2-1 so far, 2-1 4th time as an amateur. And El Chingon, love that nickname. Fitness Fight Factory, F3 in the house. You see Bedford right there as well. Zuniga, we had a chance to watch him as he took on Christian Ammons, remember, for that bantamweight amateur title at Fury FC 63. And Ammons, such a highly touted prospect. He went toe-to-toe with him, and that fight could have come down. It could have gone any way. It was such a close fight.
Yeah, Armando, coming out of Fitness Fight Factory over there with Johnny Bedford. Our main event fight is from Johnny Bedford. He's establishing himself as one of the top coaches here in DFW, but also in these regional events. He's got some guys, Darren Whitney, that's undefeated now, that's on the card tonight. There's some good guys coming out of Fitness Fight Factory, Alex.
Yeah, I remember seeing there was only 3 of their fighters on this card, and that's not a big number compared to what they usually produced. Last time we were in Gilley's, they had like 8 guys fighting. We had some serious activity.
All right, our tail to tape, 136.8 on the scale for Joel Sanchez, 135.4, and Pretty even otherwise. Zuniga, the taller of the fighters. So we're going to get a good showdown here. Let's get it going. Let's get our official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, your opening undercard contest brought to you by SheathUnderwear.com is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Bantamweight Division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, he weighed in at 135 pounds. Fighting out of Arlington, Texas, he holds an amateur record of 2 wins, no losses. This is El Gallo, Joel Sanchez. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, he too weighed in at 135 pounds. Fighting out of Arlington, Texas, he holds an amateur record of 3 wins, only 1 defeat. This is Armando Zuniga. Your referee in charge of the action, Birchie Still Wagner.
Get your hands up, you boy! Let's go!
All right, final instructions. Get us going here. First fight of the night on our prelims. What a way to get us going in the bantamweight division in the amateurs. A former #1 contender in Zuniga taking on Joel Sanchez. Here we go.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak out of line here, but he still may be the #1 contender. I mean, that was a really good fight. You know, both guys, as we come in here, we talked a little bit about kind of their experience, but you know, both fighters looking very poised, looking very relaxed. A lot of time when we see amateurs, when they are, you know, in this spotlight, they'll get a little nervous. They'll, you know, maybe look a little unsure in there, but not these 2 guys.
Yeah, one thing I love is they're both finding their jabs early, throwing out some reads, getting reactions, throwing some good feints. Oh, good combination there.
Ooh.
From Sanchez. Both guys landing. Sanchez landing the cleaner shots. These guys are in a brawl right now. Oh,
Ooh,
big knee.
Big knee there to connect.
I think it was reinforced, but no harm, no foul, I suppose, here. It was cool that the fighter who threw the foul acknowledged it.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to stop those things whenever you're kind of in the moment.
Ooh, huge combination to a big low kick there again from Sanchez.
Man, Sanchez has some power behind those kicks. Of course, with that kickboxing Muay Thai background.
You know, what's impressive about these 2 guys so far, Alex, is that they're not just throwing 1 punch at a time. These guys are throwing good combinations, and they're exchanging. I mean, this is not how an amateur fight typically starts out.
We've seen Zuniga now attack the body twice in a row. He landed a body kick earlier. Oh, that's why he's got to set up low kicks. Sanchez has done well with that low kick in the past, but he ate a big punch as soon as he threw it. But it seems like it did some damage. He just needed the body well. I mean, there's another big low kick.
Saw Zuniga hobbling a little bit.
I mean, his body's hurt, his leg is hurt. Oh, yeah,
no, this does not look good.
He's got drop foot. That means that nerve in the leg's attacked. You can't control the bend of your ankle. This is bad. Sanchez needs to let him go. Sanchez needs to make him move his feet. If I'm Sanchez's coach, I'm telling him to break.
Yeah, and I'm telling him nothing but leg kicks from now on.
Absolutely.
Protect your head, nothing but leg kicks. Just keep winding up and not hitting those calves.
Man, I feel for Zuniga. He's got that lead leg just busted. He's getting kneed to the body. Suddenly it doesn't make a headshot seem so bad.
Yeah, and you see Alex on his right foot, he's got a little swelling in his ankle too. He may have rolled his ankle there. You see the inside of that ankle is pretty swollen. He may have rolled it there. These 3-minute rounds, we'll see, has only got about 20 seconds left in this round. Let's see if he can survive this. Right now, I would just be looking to get to that stool and get worked on a little bit.
Yeah, Zuniga clinching up. That was the best thing he could have hoped to do. And we got an accidental foul. Oh yeah, you see him trying to walk it out.
Yeah, maybe a smart fight move there. You know, you don't want to have a low blow, but it may have been smart for Zuniga there to be able to take a break.
Looked like the end was near for Zuniga, and that clinch was perfect because he, of course, got a chance to recover, and then this foul, we'll see how Sanchez recovers. Zuniga is good.
Yeah, fight fans, keep an eye on Zuniga's right foot. That was the one he was walking on very trepidly.
Yeah, he's going to have to find his center on that leg and make sure he's not trying to go to his toes. or his heel, because if he gets off the rocker there, it could spell disaster for him.
And you see Sanchez just immediately hacks him with a low kick.
Just one to remember him by as we end round one. And man, the kick of Sanchez in round one. We'll get some highlights here in a second, but what a fun way to get us going. That was a very, very competitive and technical round.
And we'll probably see some of the low kicks here in the highlights, but if you guys look at Zuniga walk to his stool, he was like up entirely off the ground. I mean, there's no feeling in that foot. That's a scary, dangerous, predicament to have to deal with in a fight.
How long does it take for Phelan to get back?
I couldn't tell you. It's never happened to me, thankfully, but that's nightmarish. I mean, I base my style off of footwork.
Yeah.
And if you can't move, I mean, that was the kick right there that hurt him. Because he ate a punch for his efforts, but it was worth it.
Yeah, and not being able to feel something in a fight, or like having something dislocated that you can't use, it's a horrible feeling, and that may not come back till tomorrow. So.
Yeah, that's tough. As a pro, you got to really stretch your time to win out. But as these amateurs, I'm sure they asked him and took a close look at him to make sure he was mobile and had a chance to win this fight.
Man, he may be smart to pull guard here right in the first round. Just try to get this to the ground.
He's got a good little bounce in his feet.
Ooh. Good clinch there from Sanchez.
Yeah, very good clinch offense there from Sanchez the whole fight.
Yeah, you see Sanchez trying to set there and just attacking that leg every time he gets into the pocket.
Yeah, had a nice connect there with the left that kind of stunned Sanchez for a second, but now he's back into it. Big takedown.
Very nice.
In judo, that would have been an ippon. That would have been a win right there. I mean, that double leg put him on his shoulders. That's good. Good adaptation here from Zuniga. I mean, he needed to mix it up. And what's crazy, he was having success on the feet. He was just taking some mobility damage, which, it's oh, he's going for an arm bar.
Oh, there's the arm bar attempt.
He's got to roll to his left side.
Now he gives up position.
Good scramble there from Sanchez.
Yeah, made a little technical mistake there in that arm bar. He tried to finish it and pull and finish it before he was in position, and you have to finish the positional change before you try to go back. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying unless you're a super high-level black belt, that can make transitions kind of on the fly, you got to be deep in that position before you try that finish.
Big mouse on the left eye here on Zuniga. And Mike, we were both at ADCC recently, and I was so shocked. The second most finished submissions was arm bars, which was a huge surprise. First for naked choke, second arm bars, third heel hooks.
Yeah, and it's about having a perfect. This, Alex. You almost have to have a perfect position to finish an arm bar on another high level black belt. It's pretty amazing that that those were the finishes, because 9 times out of 10 in training we get out of those.
Yeah. Oh, big ground and pound here from Sanchez. Man, Sanchez is on it, and Zuniga's doing well. Just Sanchez just has an answer and an attack for everything.
Yeah, and I feel like Zuniga is fighting with a handicap, so he made it, and Sanchez just turned his back to him. That's never a good sign.
Yeah, and he took a big breath with his mouth open. Maybe he's starting to fade.
20 seconds left in round 2.
Zuniga, like the Terminator, damage him as much as you want, but he's not going to fade. He's not going to quit.
Zuniga has fought a 5-round amateur fight. His last fight against Christian Ammons, which was a title fight. So we know he can go the distance. Going into round 5, it was 2-2. So he has that gas tank, and now he's unloading to end round 2. We will go to the third round. What a round.
I think that's a Zuniga round. He blasts the double, he shoots the armbar, he gets up and lands some shots. It looks like it's 1-1 going into this third round.
Man, let's take a look at some highlights here for round 2.
Yeah, great adjustment by Zuniga and his team for round 2. I mean, they saw he was a shorter wheel, and they adjusted. Wanted to get the takedown. They got a big takedown. You see that transition here. He's almost finished with it. He's a little too angled up toward the shoulder. He needed to turn just a little bit more. If he got to the back and been able to control that head with the other leg, I think he may have finished it because he wasn't trying to defend it at all.
Here's a fun fact. In a professional boxing contest, you're not allowed to turn your back like that. The ref will stop the fight and warn you, and if you do it again, they will stop the fight. Another odd boxing fact, you're not allowed to have both feet off of the ground at any one time. No jumping punches in boxing. Because I had one boxing match and I was like, hey, can I throw a Superman punch? And they said, no, you have to have at least 1 foot on the ground. I had no clue.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So no spinning back fist, no Superman punches. And it's actually kind of an eloquent rule to keep the boxing art real pure.
This is where we should flash that the more you know graphic across our screen. That's awesome.
That's right.
And
Alex is our MMA encyclopedia here.
Take that compliment with pride.
Absolutely, you should.
Man, as Sanchez just slams another low kick in there. I feel for Zuniga. Not even getting paid for this. He's being paid with experience.
That's right, and undoubtedly he wants to close the distance and get this fight back to the ground. He doesn't want to get into the clinch. He doesn't want to close there and get in the clinch. He's been losing those battles so far in the first 2 rounds. This is exactly what he wants. He wants to get down on those legs, get this fight back to the ground as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and his best work has been coming forward. When he's sitting at range or even moving back, that's when he's getting just hammered with those low kicks.
And you can see that the red marks on the left leg of Zuniga.
Like an accidental knee. It's funny, the fighters actually broke it up. The ref didn't do much to intervene. Good for these guys. They show good sportsmanship.
I think the referee's just barely awake.
Got a cool haircut.
Yeah. Good to see some new referees in there in the cage.
Good jab there from Zuniga. I love the pressure of Zuniga. Had been a good time to level change too. You can tell Sanchez has faded a bit. I think Sanchez, when he hurt him with the low kicks, he really tried to unload the tank. Nice little fake right hand to a jab there from Zuniga. Oh yeah, look at Sanchez. He's breathing hard as he throws a jump knee.
Zuniga trying to bum rush him to the ground. He's kind of needs to drop down a little bit right there. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to take a knee, but needs to drop down right there to those legs to a single or a double and get this back to the ground.
Unofficially 1-1 right now on the scorecard.
I'd say so.
Yeah, I would think it would have to be. I think definitely the first round went to Sanchez, and Zuniga pretty handily won the second round.
That goes to show the value of wrestling and even just going for takedowns. I mean, that was anyone's round, but that just really secures, the lead here for Zuniga. There's still a minute to go.
Yeah, Sanchez from the bottom trying to move those up to high guard. Undoubtedly going to turn his hips out, try to secure this win with an armbar there.
Both guys don't look too sweaty at this point. Maybe there's a chance to pull something there.
Yeah, that is true. They both look pretty dry for having a fight in the 3rd round. You can see Sanchez trying to get that up to high guard, open his guard, trying to get to high guard, trying to turn his hips. Zuniga doing a good job of passing out some punishment areas. He's got about 14 or 15 seconds.
Good timing on that posture. Zuniga's been really active with his ground and pound too. Sanchez rallies hard to get up. Hits a wee shot, but Zuniga's all over him with the sprawl, and they're brawling to finish this 10 seconds out.
What a finish by Armando Zuniga.
Man, I think this is a 29-28 Zuniga.
Yeah, and already an early candidate for fight of the night. I mean, congrats to these amateurs. They put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, good way to start this card out.
Tell you what, man, both of these guys look ready to make their pro debuts. That was as skilled and technical of a fight as we've seen from 2 amateurs. That was beautiful. Let's take a look at round 3 highlights.
Took a jump knee. Oh, he almost did a spinning back elbow, which is not allowed. I think he was throwing the back fist and just got crowded with that double leg. Attacking the body. That's what he was just getting a little over aggressive. Zuniga times that takedown well.
Yeah, once they got to this point, Alex, there wasn't much else that Sanchez could do until right in the last 5 or 10 seconds. He kind of got up, he turned his hips, tried to for that arm bar. Tried something, you see him pull off the cage there. Good job posturing by Zuniga. And then as they go to their feet, he wrestles up, they go to their feet, and it was just a brawl for the last 5 or 6 seconds. It was awesome.
Man, looking at Joel Sanchez walking around, he looks fresh, ready to go. I almost wonder if he's a guy that could maybe even go at flyweight. Maybe a little bit left there to lose, because he's pretty good. That's a pretty good looking bantamweight is Joel Sanchez.
And it's hard to believe me and these guys are the same height at 5'10", 5'9", somewhere around there. And I weigh he's got about 70 pounds. Jeez. I'm just going to say that makes him a tall bantamweight.
Get the officials calculating their scorecards here, making sure everything is good.
Yeah, we may even be looking at a split decision here. I can see one judge maybe giving it to 2 rounds to Sanchez, but I think Zuniga got the better of the exchanges after round 1.
So yeah, they're tying up now. In my last fight, one judge gave me a 30-27 win, but I lost the 3rd round. I got dropped with a knee. But I talked to him afterwards, and he was actually sitting to where my back was to him. He didn't see the knee land. So where the judges sit at the cage, I'm telling you guys, it plays a factor. What you see at home is not quite what the judges see. So I mean, that's why they have 3 judges sitting, in opposite spots of the cage. But when he told me that, I was pretty surprised. I told him he made the right call, but naturally I'm super biased.
Yeah, and it's extremely difficult. People don't understand, to be a judge, to be a referee, when it's happening in real time and you're trying to concentrate on everything that's going on, and it's really, really difficult to see everything. You would think you would, because that's all you're looking at, but it's very difficult.
All right, so it looks like everything is good. Calculated. Wayne is inside the cage. We are ready to get the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision brought to you by Space City Collective. Judge Gabriel scores the fight 29-28 Zuniga. Judge Marconi scores the fight 29-28 Sanchez. And Judge Shakur scores the fight 29-28. Declaring your winner by split decision, Armando Zuniga.
Nice win for Armando Zuniga, and man, what a showcasing by Joel Sanchez as well. Big ups to both of these amateurs for opening up this prelim card the right way.
Yeah, and a great fight for Zuniga to grow on. He's had 2 back-to-back that, one he lost, one he won, that were very, very tough fights. He had some adversity in this fight and was able to overcome it. Very, very good fight for an amateur to fight.
All right, as the fighters make their way out of the cage, that makes us open up our...
Please welcome to the blue corner for your next fight, Nicholas July.
Nick July, 1-1 record, making his way to the cage.
Yeah, comes from New York, fights out of Jackson Wink here in Dallas. I mean, the kid's young, he's 22, and he's already traveled. I mean, that's a lot of commitment to the game already.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a pattern here, Alex. The amateurs are all wearing tie shorts. What's going on with that?
Hey, man,
is that some trend I don't know about?
If we get to see some good kickboxing, I'm not going to complain.
Nicholas July was listening to an interview of his on the Caged Minds MMA show. He's been training since he was 10 years old, started with wrestling, then started with boxing at 13, then went to kickboxing at 16. So just an all-around fighter. The 22-year-old loves to fight and wants to make this a career. Let's meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, John Garza.
Nicholas July is going to be facing a pretty tough opponent here in John Garza, 5-2 record. This bantamweight, he's already won some titles in other promotions as well, so has some high-level experience. Does the 19-year-old. A lot accomplished at the age of 19.
That's a lot of fights for 19, that's right. It's impressive. It's a good record, too, for an amateur.
Yeah, and anytime you see a guy with 7 fights as an amateur that young, you know, regardless of the record, the experience that he has inside the cage with 7 fights, if he was 4-3, 3-4, whatever it was, that tells you he's going to be a tough fight. He's getting better and better and better, but at 5-2, he's pretty good already.
Yeah.
Our tail of the tape brought to you by Sheath Underwear. Both guys made weight. The 22-year-old Nicholas July, 1 inch short on the height, even on the reach.
Yeah, one thing great about this fight, we got a 19-year-old versus a 22-year-old. The young ones just fight harder. I say it all the time, this is a young man's game, and these guys are young.
Yeah, we just had a 17-year-old signed to the UFC this week on Dana White's Contender Series. I mean, how young are they going to get?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, the following contest, brought to you by Private Label, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Bantamweight Division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. Standing 5 feet 7 inches tall, he weighed in officially at 135.3 pounds. Fighting out of New York, New York, he holds an amateur record of 1 win, 1 loss. This is Nicholas July. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, he weighed in officially at 135 pounds. Fighting out of Dallas, Texas, he holds an amateur record of 5 wins, only 2 defeats. This is John Garza. Your referee in charge of the action, Berchie Stillwagner.
So Wayne missed this one, but John Garza's nickname, Mowgli, from the Jungle Book. Kind of does look like Mowgli, yeah. I have a 7-year-old, that's why I know that. I'm dropping that fact like it's a common factor. Yeah, of course everyone knows Mowgli.
Oh, hey, Nicholas already lands a good low kick and then throws it high, but eats a right hand for his efforts. And Nicholas throwing a lot of kicks early. Made a good little connection with that right hook as Mowgli was closing the distance. Nice takedown there from Garza.
Yeah, Mowgli on top here, and you know it's funny, Alex, at 17 years old, signed to the UFC, and I think about, I know you were fighting at 17. I think I was still eating chicken nuggets and getting ready for a pep rally whenever I was 17.
I could not have fought in the UFC at 17.
Man, that is incredible. Just shows the evolution of the game, right?
Yeah. And that's kind of what we talked about earlier. These guys are starting so young. They're so good, so fast. We saw it at ADCC again. The youngest competitors in the history of the event have winning their division. And, you know, these guys start when they're 9 years old. And, you know, by the time they're 15, 16 years old, they're a jiu-jitsu ace or a kickboxing ace. I mean, it's hard to beat guys like that if they stay with it.
Yeah, that Cade Rotullo, 19 years old, 4 wins, 4 submissions. Oh,
wow,
big right-hander from Mowgli. So what the thing about Nick, he's got great knees and kicks, but he's not setting them up. So he's either getting punched or taken down, and he's got a big arm and guillotine closed guard. This one's deep. This is a good guillotine. Hands are connected, guard is closed. And this just choke is in.
Yeah, that's very tight.
That is it. A big tap for Nick July. Sinks in the guillotine, and that is it. What a way to get a win here in Dallas for Nick.
Yeah, and those arm and guillotines, they're not the tightest grip, but once the guard is closed and you have your hips there to bridge, like pulling their neck into your forearm, it's a tough submission to get out of.
Nice showcase for the nice showcase for Nicholas July.
Yeah, and especially whenever you're that dry, Alex, you know, it's the beginning of the round. They haven't really started sweating yet, so it makes it a little bit easier to get. But, yeah, once you get it under the chin, once you get that really, really tight, your hips are in the correct position, and you get to close that guard, it's really, really difficult. And we saw he kind of took a shot there. He kind of took a shot. It looked like he might have been hurt a little bit. He was a little bit stunned. Mosley went in for that takedown and ended up in the guillotine. You see right there, he was a little bit stunned, it looked like. Took a few shots. Nice knee there. And then, yeah, that's a really, really tight arm in guillotine.
Good adjustment on the angle by him as well, because for a second it looked like Garza was going to be able to buy himself some time, but that adjustment by Nick was beautiful.
So, and this is way easier said than done, but you could always give up mount and literally like jump to your back and hopefully your head pops out. That's like always the last-ditch effort in those guillotines.
Yeah, and especially whenever it's under the chin, you can't push on that elbow. You got to push on the hands. You want to separate those hands. Once you get that, it's a little easier to get out.
Let's go inside to Wayne to make this official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Birchie Stillwagner calls for a stop to the action. 1 minute, 38 seconds into the very first round. Declaring your winner by tap out due to a guillotine, Nicholas Gilley.
Great showing of respect between these two amateurs. And we go to our final amateur fight of the night. And then we'll start up our pro prelims for everyone that's watching on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for supporting Fury FC, and thank you for all the comments you guys put in on the YouTube chat. We appreciate it. Let's go inside to Wayne to meet our next fighter.
Welcome to the blue corner for your next fight, Gage Harper.
Gage Harper making his way for this flyweight showdown in the amateur division. 0-2 record, third time fighting here for Fury FC. Last time we saw him, he lost to Joe Perez via the rear naked choke in the second round back in May at Fury FC 63. Here's a little note for you guys. Gage was supposed to fight at the amateur series that we do, amateur series 30. No, we were amateur series 40. He was supposed to fight at that. The opponent pulled out. So Gage's like, I just want to fight. So he took this fight on a week's notice. He was ready to go, so he just wants this fight. He just wants to get going, get more experience.
Yeah, you know, Gage at 0-2. I always like whenever the amateurs, you know, whenever we put it out and we say, hey, tell us something about yourself. We have a little thread that we go on. Gage is the first one to answer. And so we look at his record, it's 0-2. I'd like to see him win a fight before he comes out in sunglasses and dancing around like the Macho Man. But nevertheless, that's part of the fight game also. You got to promote yourself. You got to have people remember you. But none of that matters unless you're winning. So hopefully he can get himself a win here. You know, he told me his dad passed away back in July from a stroke. And so he's dedicating this fight to his dad. Wanted to give a shout out to his #1 fan, Tasha. I assume that's his girlfriend. But yeah, looking to get his first win here. I hope he does.
Let's go inside to Wayne to meet his opponent. There is Wayne.
Bryce Farmer.
Bryce Farmer, the Reaper. I hope somebody gave him that nickname.
Yeah, you have to earn
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
We talked about it. You have to.
First time fighting here in Fury is Bryce Farmer. He's been fighting since May of 2021. Was on a 2-fight losing streak before winning back in April against Blake Martin to get on the winning side there, and is 2-2 now with the record.
So I'll make this official. Any fighter watching who wants to fight, you have fight shorts. You have to pull your compression shorts above your fight shorts. There's like a stigma in Muay Thai if your compression shorts stay on your Thai shorts. It's not a good sign. So just make sure everyone fighting in the future remembers that.
Has anybody fought with compression pants?
Yeah, Shin Aoki actually was known for back when he used to fight in Pride and then now Dream. He would just wear the spats.
Yeah.
And he would break guys' joints all up and down the spot. There's a famous kickboxer, I'll tell you his name, Andy Zauer, also fought in those compression pants. They just kicked the lights out. He was awesome.
I thought I was going to stump Alex, but nope, you can't stump Alex. I was like, let me see if he knows, but he had the answer. I love it. Let's get our official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, brought to you by Howler Head Whiskey, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Flyweight Division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, he weighed in at 125 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, tonight he seeks his first amateur victory. This is Gage, the Menace Harper. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. Standing 5 feet 7 inches tall, he weighed in officially at 124.8 pounds. Fighting out of Dallas, Texas, he holds an amateur record of 2 wins, 2 losses. This is the Reaper, Bryce Farmer. Your referee in charge of the action, Aaron Menard.
What do you think, Alex? Does that have to do with death, or was he reaping on the outside in on the knee in practice over and over?
Well, these amateurs can only do straight leg locks, so.
Gage Harper in the blue gloves with the red stripe on his hair, and Farmer with the red gloves.
Yeah, I gotta assume Gage's red stripe is an homage to the God of War.
I'm gonna have to start writing these notes down as Alex tells us these fun facts.
Davidson Figueiredo in the UFC, our champ, also rocks the red streak in honor of the God of War.
Nice. Former champ now, Brendan Moreno got it back, right?
I believe Davidson won the decision last. Did Brand? So I remember Brandon Renick choked him, and then Figueiredo, I think, won the decision on the rematch.
I think they fought on that same card you did. In Dallas, right?
No, that was Alex Perez and Pantoja. Oh no, Moreno, he fought.
Yeah, and it was a rematch, and I think Moreno got the belt back.
No, he fought Kai Kara France. And TKO'd him with a body kick.
Oh, that's right.
Figueroa was in the interim belt.
Yeah. All right, you're right. I remember now.
We were both right and wrong.
Yeah. No, that's right. It was I forgot about the interim belt. That's right.
Good jab there from Farmer. We've seen Gage do a little more striking. Usually in his last 2 outings, he's been taken down and Renick choked.
Gage currently in college, studying to become a teacher as well. Just eats a left punch there.
And Gage being the taller fighter, one thing he's got to learn is how to use that range a little bit. He's got long arms, he's got long legs. He's very, very tall, but kind of stands straight up and kind of punches from his shoulder. Just get from his shoulder out. He doesn't really get his shoulders into it. You got to get that arm stretched out as far as you can and get him on the end of that jab.
Yeah, he sticks his chin up a little bit too as his opponent throws, like right there. I mean, if his opponent throws an overhand right when he's coming in with his chin up, it can be a quick night. Not in a great way. One thing Farmer's done well is he's used that inside kick really well. He's going to it a lot.
5th fight for Farmer. Ooh, a nice punch there from Farmer.
Potential triangle here from Gage. I mean, it's in.
Yeah, there's those long legs going into use. That is a tight triangle. Needs to extend his hips out just a little bit or pull the head down, one or the other.
I mean, this is tight. The angle's not the best, but I mean, this is a fully locked in triangle. That's bad news for anybody within that hold.
What does Gage need to do to finish this right now, Michael?
Man, he needs to push his hips up just a little bit and squeeze his knees together. People make the mistake of just squeezing one leg or kind of turning them in, but they need to squeeze their knees together. Or he needs to reach up and grab that leg, change the angle a little bit, and just it'll tighten down on that neck. There he switches to the arm bar.
With 5 seconds left, is this going to be enough? No, man. Wow. Good survival there from Bryce Farmer.
Yeah, nice transitions there too. Gage Harper with a nice transition from the triangle to the arm bar. Wasn't able to finish it. His angle was a little bit off, but you know, Bryce Farmer changing the angle just a little bit, saved him just a little bit of space.
Bryce Farmer fighting out of SFS MMA.
You see UFC veteran Ugly Man Joe there in his corner.
Yeah, Joe's a good guy. I've done a couple rounds with him in the past. I was really happy to see him get signed to the UFC.
Yeah, and signed out of what promotion?
Round 1 highlights. A quick look at them. Kind of ironic. Gage Harper with the Farmer's tan as he takes on Bryce Farmer. Can't believe I just noticed that tan.
Yeah, and here he's kind of grabbing the wrong leg. If he would have grabbed the other leg and changed the angle there and tightened that down, anytime the foot is kind of closed that gate down the back, you're not gonna be able to get it quite as tight. You need to get over to the side of the body, so you change the angle the other way, pull that leg all the way down, makes it really, really tight. Gage Harper still standing a little tall. Both guys are landing pretty decent. They're, you know, especially the leg kicks. Both guys throwing leg kicks, both guys landing.
Gage Harper lists at 5'8". It's a tall 5'8". Tall 5'8" because it looks like he's 5'10", close to 6.
Yeah.
And especially it makes him look taller because he's 125 pounds.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If he's 205 pounds like me, he looks like a fire hydrant.
I say tank.
Yeah.
You're a tank, man.
I don't know.
Self-confidence is beautiful, Michael.
He's just being modest. He's the trickiest martial artist I know. Had me in more than one darce choke every time we roll.
By the way, we're going to talk a little bit more about this on our Fight Pass broadcast from Michael, who just competed at ADCC as well.
I did.
He had a really good fight camp. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
later.
I'm fat again. I'm eating pizza and chicken nuggets again.
You can enjoy life.
Yeah,
Which, by the way,
right.
Gage Harper told us his favorite snack, Oreos. And after his fights, he'll eat an entire pack.
Yeah? Whew. I don't know why he waits until after his fights. Yeah, he won like almost every night.
I like the white Oreos more than the traditional ones.
Yeah?
I love those, the vanilla ones. Good stand-up exchange here for both guys.
I need to talk to Eric and get Oreos to sponsor this event or something.
Right.
Because
we need a pack here after our broadcast.
Here up here, bring in some milk and Oreos. You're not going to hear anything from the commentary table.
You guys leave me out of that. My Oreo days are long behind me.
I forgot Alex is in a continuous camp for like all year.
Alex, what's your snack after a fight camp, after your fight is officially over? What's your guilty pleasure?
Man, I'm going to have to think about that. Give me a minute.
Alex eats an entire steer after he's...
Well, you guys see my commentary outfits. I have multiple, but they're all black on black on black. Nope, we got a decent guillotine here from Farmer. His hands they're a little low, and Gage gets the takedown. Because if I find something I like, I just stick to it.
You stick to it over.
Yeah.
I like that. 10 seconds left.
So I think this may secure another round here for Gage. Hit the takedown at the perfect time. That was a pretty even round.
Yeah, up until then.
The takedown was the most notable one-sided action.
Yeah, I can't leave Bryce Farmer out because he looks like both of the Paul brothers kind of combined.
Okay, round 2 highlights.
Here we go, Gage
Yeah.
Harper, both guys landing like we said a little earlier. Both guys landing, a lot of kicks from both of these guys. Both guys doing a decent job. There's that last takedown we saw. You see his arm is a little out of position there. He was trying to, it looked like he was almost trying to grab it like an anaconda choke. If he would have grabbed a little further back under the chin instead of under the armpit, might have been able to lock that up, but he was really, really square, so not likely it would have been something he could finish.
We go to our final round of this final amateur fight on our prelims. Coming up, we still have 7 pro fights. Spoiler alert, I don't think we're going to get to all 7 on this prelims broadcast.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw the original fight card for this. It was like 23 fights.
Yeah.
We'd have been here till Tuesday morning.
Fury has their first Challenger Series coming up here pretty soon. And I think there's over 20 fights booked on that one. There's some amateur fights, and then the main part of the card is pros, but pros with fewer than 5 fights.
That's going to be on October 23rd And this is going to be the first time ever that a promotion will be broadcasting live on the UFC Fight Pass Facebook page, which has millions of followers. So it's going to be a really cool broadcast. So for everyone watching on YouTube, make sure you like the UFC Fight Pass Facebook page, because it's going to be exclusive to that only on October 23rd.
Very cool. I have 3 of my guys fighting on that card. One of them is a 1-0 pro. The other 2 guys pretty seasoned amateurs. Good exposure for those guys.
Eric Garcia, Richard Burmaster trying something new, trying to get more exposure for all of these great fighters that we have, not only in Houston, in Texas, but nationwide.
One thing I'd like to see either of these guys do more is commit a little more to their boxing entries and their big punches. You can see they're like throwing punches but kind of fading away before they really commit to, you know, entering that strike zone. Now granted, if you miss and you get countered, like, that is the risk, but if you want to look to do damage with the hands, you got to commit a little bit more.
Yeah, another nice low kick there, right to the back of the calf. With about 1 minute and 20 seconds left, I don't know that they want this to go to the ground. You know, we think Gage Harper's probably up 2 rounds to none. And I just don't know if they have enough time. Bryce Farmer, if he gets this to the ground with, you know, less than a minute left, is he going to have time to change position and do this? He hasn't shown that so far.
So in the first round, Bryce like kind of caught a kick and punched Harper and did knock him down, but then he got stuck in that triangle. So I don't think they can safely think that that knockdown won them the round. I mean, from my, you know, unofficial perspective, I got Gage up 2.
And it was almost 25 seconds in that triangle.
I mean, yeah,
it was pretty long.
Like, that triangle came closer to finishing the fight than that punch that I believe.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, you know, he's in there for 25 seconds, and sometimes those guys who have really, really long legs, their legs are almost too long. So without the angle, you're not going to finish a triangle whenever your legs are extremely long and your opponent has a smaller neck. You're just not going to finish that unless you change that angle like we talked about earlier.
Yes, I mean, you know, maybe this takedown won Bryce the third, but I just don't know if it's enough.
Nice up kicks there from Gage. That is it. The fight ends with both guys talking. And I thought the time for talk was over, but it actually just started right now.
Yeah, he was telling him to get up with 3 seconds left. But if he would have gotten up, the round would have been over by the time they stood back up.
That's one of our pet peeves on this broadcast, is when the fight is over and the guys are talking to each other. It's like, you just had all this time.
Yeah.
Look at round 3 highlights.
Yeah, some decent shots landed. Here we see that guillotine attempt there from the second round. Like I said, he was trying to finish it like an anaconda choke, and it's just not possible from that position.
Yeah, he didn't really commit to anything. You know, their backs were to us. I thought he was going for a guillotine, but it wasn't even really close at all.
Yeah, not close at all. So, you know, points for the takedown, but probably not for the submission attempt. Not really a submission attempt there, but, you know, entertaining fight. So you see, I think Gage did more damage, and you know, both fighters still look pretty clean, so not a lot of damage. But you know, the takedowns and then that triangle attempt, I think that gives it to Gage.
All right, while we wait for the decision, don't forget to listen to the Fury Unleashed podcast with Wayne Leggett, Rich Burmaster, Eric Garcia, and the superstar Diego Reyes as they talk about MMA and non-MMA related topics, featuring weekly special guests like our own Alex Morono. This past week's episode, Houston MMA legend Colin Cantrell. Loved that episode. Man, it was so much fun to listen to. The history, not only of Houston MMA, but just MMA in general. Colin's such an encyclopedia as well. Let's go inside for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision brought to you by Space City Collective. All 3 judges score the fight 29-28, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, the Menace, Gage Harper.
Congratulations to Gage Harper getting his first amateur win here in Dallas. So now we're going to transition to the pro side of our prelims. A Let's go inside to Wade.
He can wear the sunglasses for the next walkout now.
Yeah.
All right, I guess.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Isaiah Torres.
Pro rules now. Isaiah Torres making his way to the cage. Isaiah Zay Torres.
Yeah, Isaiah Torres out of the Ultimate Performance Center of Pueblo, from Pueblo, Colorado. You know, he's 1-2 as a pro, but he was 7-3 as an amateur. Been fighting since 2017. Actually lost his last fight by heel hook, which, you know, you don't see a ton in the cage, but lost his last fight by heel hook, and then lost a decision to Ben Williford. The heel hook goes to Drake Lopez. So two formidable opponents that he's taken here in his first 3 fights. Beat Joseph Quintana in his debut by KO. He has a really good guillotine choke, so, you know, if somebody tries to take him down, he usually tries to go for that guillotine choke. He's got a pretty good one. He's an amateur champion in other organizations. Like I said, Alex, 10 fights as an amateur. That's a lot.
Yeah, I saw he's got a good height for this weight class as well. This will be a fun pro fight to kick off this prelim card.
Isaiah Torres, as you mentioned that heel hook, that was a heel hook I still haven't watched back at Fury FC 59 against Drake Lopez.
That was gross.
Let's meet his opponent. Here is Wayne.
Please welcome to the red corner, Melvin Lopez.
Yeah, that was that heel hook. And good to see Isaiah back healthy now. Everything's recovered. He actually had, I believe, an amateur bout. I was looking at his Instagram. So he's been getting back in there. Not an amateur bout, just getting some nice sparring in. So, like, he's getting back in that motion, right?
Yeah.
Like, twisting his body up a little bit. But now Melvin Lopez making his way to the cage.
Yeah, these guys are different in pretty much every way. Their styles, their height, their age. I mean, this is a fun matchup. This is an interesting matchup.
Melvin Lopez, so tough, Michael. He went the distance against Eddie Frye, who is such a good prospect back at Fury FC 63.
Yes.
And he just, I mean, there's no quit in him. It's awesome.
Yeah, in Eddie Fryer's last 3 fights, he starts 2 of his opponents,
Yeah.
and Melvin Lopez is the only one that took him the distance. And, you know, we talked to him a little bit after that fight, and Eddie was like, man, that dude is tough. You know, Melvin Lopez at 43 years old, he's a lot to deal with.
Our tail of the tape brought to you by Clean Fight Disinfectant. As you mentioned, the 43-year-old giving up 5 inches on the height and reach. But don't let that fool you. He is okay fighting taller fighters in this weight class.
He had no choice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 5'3", there's not a lot that are shorter than you in any weight class.
Let's go inside to Wayne for our official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by the Fury Unleashed podcast, available on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC flyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist is 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighed in at a perfect 125 pounds. Fighting out of Pueblo, Colorado tonight, he seeks his 2nd victory as a pro. This is Isaiah Torres. In introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter says 5 feet 3 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 124.2 pounds. Fighting out of Fort Worth, Texas, he holds a professional record of 1 win, 1 loss. This is El Torito Catracho, Melvin Lopez. Your referee in charge of the action, Joe Coca.
All right, everything looks good. Joe Coca. Look to make sure the door is shut. And our first pro fight of this prelims broadcast is underway. Red gloves for Lopez, blue for Torres.
Yeah, and Isaiah Torres looks huge for this weight division. I don't know if it's just because he's standing next to Melvin Lopez, but he looks very, very big for this weight class.
Yeah, he's definitely taller than the average flyweight, for sure. I had just read a list of the average height for each weight class in the UFC. I forget what it was for flyweight, but it was definitely shorter than 5'8".
Isaiah Torres from Pueblo, Colorado, as you mentioned earlier. Michael came up here with Adam Martinez, who's going to be opening up our Fury FC 69 card on UFC Fight Pass. Close with Adam Martinez.
Yeah, Adam Martinez is fun to watch. He is a crafty, tricky fighter.
Most exciting fighter in MMA. He will get a finish or he will be finished.
That's right.
Yeah, and Isaiah Torres, you know, I always say this about the Colorado guys, is that, you know, their gas tank's a little bit different. I don't know if you've ever trained in Colorado or in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Is the worst I've ever trained in at 7,500 feet, but it is just grueling. Like halfway through one round, I was just sucking wind, and those guys, it's nothing to them. So I always wonder about, you know, what's the gas tank like for these guys coming from Colorado, coming from New Mexico. It always seems to be a little better, but, you know, doesn't mean much when you're getting punched in the face, but as the fight wears on, it could have an effect.
Some of my favorite things, anytime we go to New Mexico, Albuquerque, we go skiing there a lot, love it. Or Colorado, I'll just do sprints just to see, like, where am I physically right now? Because it's a heat check, man. You're like, whoa.
So Isaiah Torres comes from a gym called Ultimate Performance in Shin Gi Tai. And I just looked up on my phone what Shin Gi Tai means. It's actually a karate saying. Shin means your spirit, Gi means your technique, and Tai means the wellness of your body. So he's got some karate skills, but he's got double leg. Karate's not going to help you there.
That's going to hurt the Shin Gi and Tai there. That's very cool to see the balance there of all three.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melvin Lopez here, you know, when you're in the guard of a longer fighter and you're a little bit shorter, sometimes it's really difficult to reach kind of your punching point. And so, you know, it's a little bit extra effort. It takes a little bit more. You're kind of hoping, you know, Isaiah Torres is kind of doing exactly what Melvin Lopez hopes for. If he closes that guard and kind of pushes his hips out, makes him a little bit further away and harder to punch.
Great point. Look how much leg strength he's using there just to get close enough to throw some of those punches, Michael.
Yeah, and the other thing is if you've got him down a little closer to your chest, makes those elbows that you throw a little bit tighter.
So these are 5-minute rounds. That 10-second warning was a mistake. Oh, they just got corrected. Very nice.
Yep. Yeah, he's got handily corrected. I like to see that there.
Yeah, quite literally. He had his hand taken away from the horn.
Yeah, he got his hand slapped. It was awesome.
So once upon a time, not so long ago, the Texas Commission used to have pro fighters with fewer than 5 fights do 3-minute rounds. No one liked it. No one agreed with it. And they didn't change the rules for a long time. My first, I think, 3 or 4 pro fights were 3-minute rounds. It was weird.
Really?
And
like back in like the 2007 to 11 range?
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there was one fight, Derek Krantz, who made it to the UFC against Brian Melanson, who also made it to the UFC. Krantz was getting beat up, and he finally took Melanson down, and they stopped it at the 3-minute mark, and then they restarted him on the feet, and Krantz ended up losing a decision.
Oh.
And the fight was in his favor as soon as he hit the takedown. I mean, it totally changed the routing of that fight.
Wow.
We see Torres here on, you know, kind of a chin strap, you know, grip, but Lopez has just been all over him pretty much since the opening bell.
Yeah, and Isaiah Torres with that striking background, you know, this is probably exactly what they game plan.
Yeah, Lopez needs to get, Torres needs to get after it if he wants to try to put a stamp on this round. I mean, he's lost this round up until this point.
Ooh, nice knee there.
It's one way to do it.
That's where Melvin Lopez is so good. Once he gets close and sticks on you, it's going to be a suffocating round, but Torres did not to break away now, and now unloading some punches.
That's a good right-hander from Torres. It's accurate as he misses the uppercut.
About 10 seconds left here. Another flying knee there, just landed just under the chin of Melvin Lopez.
That knee was accurate, and if there was more time, I mean, this guillotine's under the neck. The hands are disconnected, though. There's no threat here.
Yeah, very nice way to finish the round for Melvin Lopez. You saw he took a little damage there at the end, and that takedown probably secured him the round for sure.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time on top, you know, around 3 minutes, which is more than half the round.
Yeah, you see here, Melvin Lopez closing the distance. Nice little double leg takedown there. And you see here, they spent a little bit of time in the guard. once they got back to their feet, Isaiah Torres was landing some good punches, some good knees, good strikes. And then right there at the end, Melvin able to get him back to the ground and finish there at the bell. And, you know, Alex, it's one of those things where we never know how the referees or the judges, sometimes they remember the last thing they see, sometimes they remember the first thing they see, sometimes they remember the most significant event of the round. And so you just never know kind of what they're looking at or what they remember. They are human beings, so that's one of those rounds that's really difficult to call, but I think it was Melvin Lopez's.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Good to go for round 2.
And if I was Isaiah Torres' corner, I would tell him, hey, let's set those kicks up with the hands. Let's keep him at distance to make sure that he can't get in there tight on those takedowns.
Yeah, you said it as I was thinking. He definitely needs to use his boxing to set up those kicks. He's had success with his right hand as well. No real setup from Lopez on that shot. Easily stuffed.
Going back and watching his loss to Drake Lopez up into that heel hook, Isaiah Torres was throwing some really fun, interesting combos and stamping the legs with those kicks like we just heard and saw.
Yeah, that was a good calf kick, hit just below the knee. Another big right hand there from Torres. Lopez got a good chin on him though. Oh, that was a man. We heard that one. Oh, nice little oblique kick to the knee.
Yeah, and Melvin Lopez needs to kind of turn away from those and kind of, he needs to get on his bicycle and kind of move around the cage a little bit and get away. He's standing really, really immobile, and he's just a little bit, a couple feet away from the edge of the cage. It's not a place to be, trying to do any offense.
Man, another kick connects. Yeah, you mentioned that bicycle, but man, tough to ride that bike when one of the tires is kind of getting flat.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but it's a double-edged sword. If you just sit there, they're going to keep just pounding on it. You got to get it in there, you got to get around, or you got to figure out a way to close the distance. I think if he throws a couple combinations, gets Isaiah Torres' hands up, he'll be able to get in on his legs, because Isaiah Torres has a tall stance. Typical karate stance, a little bit wider, and you see he kind of goes to that as he exchanges, but in just his regular stance, he's a little bit tall for a karate fighter.
Yeah, and I've counted, he's landed 5. Torres has landed 5 good, hard, low kicks. Not even halfway through this round.
This is where Lopez needs to find something. The tough 43-year-old.
Big body kick there from Torres. He's found his range here in the second round. And it looks like he's starting to run away with it.
Yeah, he's landing some big punches now. Almost everything he's throwing is landing right now. Between the leg kicks and the combinations with his hands.
Johnny Bedford's already in Melvin Lopez's corner yelling to execute the game plan, which I can only assume is trying to get Torres down and suffocate him with that wrestling and groundwork.
Yeah, Rio, I was going to say the same thing, and that is the plan, but when you're getting your leg hacked out from underneath you and every time you enter you're getting hit, it can be tough to do.
Oh man, big overhand right from Torres.
And just like we talked about setting up those kicks with your hands, you got to set up those takedowns with it also. You want to get your opponent standing tall. You want to get those hands up and the elbows up so that you can get underneath, get your hands together and either double leg or somehow drag them to the ground. If that's your game plan, I mean, getting in the pocket. He does have pretty heavy hands. So if he can get in there and he can land with those big overhand rights, he's got a shot there too.
And Torres is doing a good job pressuring and then reacting to the shot and then going right back to the pressure. Good jab there from Lopez. Oh, big right hand there from Torres. He's finally kind of tracked him down and cornered him. Throws a big elbow over the top. Lopez is tough. There's only so much you can take.
Yeah, Torres starting to find his range now. He's landing big shots.
Oh, a big connect again.
Got him in the eye, yep. He's blinking on it.
As you mentioned, Lopez is so tough. Won the distance against Eddie Frye, who had a huge knockout in round 1 last time out. So to survive against Eddie Frye and now Getting picked apart by Torres, but still moving forward is Lopez, man. What a tough fighter and so much heart for the 43-year-old.
Yeah, I think Torres made a mistake there in kind of letting Melvin kind of control the cage for just a second there, because as soon as he did, he gets back up against the cage, you see what happens. He's going back to the ground. So I think he made a mistake there, kind of changing spots with him. This is the spot he needs to be if he wants to win this fight. He needs to be in the center of the cage without his back against the cage.
And making the striking ugly here for Lopez is not a bad option either, because he's just picked apart at range.
10 seconds left.
He won't win this striking battle if it stays technical and long. He's got to make it close and ugly.
Big flying knee to end the round, and we will go to round 3. What a round for Isaiah Torres. We look at our highlights of the masterful stand-up.
He has a good calf kick there from Torres. Another good calf kick there from Torres.
Yeah, I think Torres picked Melvin Lopez apart in this round, landing just about everything he threw. He landed a lot of significant shots here in this second round. Melvin Lopez did a good job of wrestling and took him down a couple of times, but they almost went right back to their feet immediately. Isaiah Torres did not try to fight from the ground. He did not try to fight from the bottom. He wrestled up this time and got back to striking, where he was winning those exchanges.
Yeah, in a fight like this, you know, you win the first round and then you lose the second round, but take some damage. I mean, it usually is a snowball effect. It's hard to come back from that kind of stuff. You know, you're a little more fatigued, you're a little more beat up. It just makes the takedowns that much harder to get. Torres looks fresh as can be.
Yeah, Johnny Bedford getting very heated with Melvin Lopez there in between rounds. Kind of abandoning the game plan. It happens sometimes when you get tired. It happens when you get hurt. It happens when you get distracted with something that's going on with your body, or you know, you're trying over and over and over, and then you know what you're doing is not working. It's easy to get distracted.
You know, plus as these fights go on and you fatigue and the sweat increases, just finishing the takedowns can be so hard. You gotta be a real high-level wrestler to be able to endure and work through that.
Yeah, and whenever I was fighting Alex, I used to always like, all right, we're sweaty, and if I want to take him down, I need my shots and my center needs to be where his shorts are. That's where my best grip is, and so I'm gonna start there and then adjust my hands down or up or whatever I have to do, but I'm gonna make sure that my grip is good on his shorts where I have some friction there, and then kind of move from there. But, you know, it's very, very difficult, especially when they're wearing short shorts, because you're around their hips and it makes it really difficult.
And Torres is just walking down Lopez.
I mean, he's I don't want to say he's landing at will, but I mean, everything he throws, he's landing. He's still being cautious because Lopez still has some power, but Torres he's really found his range and his rhythm.
Yeah, and Lopez reaching down for those calf kicks now. I'm afraid, you know, he's going to fake one of those calf kicks and he's going to go for a head kick, and this may end with a head kick.
One thing I do with my fighters, we have a primary game plan. We always have a secondary, just in case it doesn't work. So that way, the guys aren't panicking or thinking there's no way to win.
Yeah, and you see Isaiah Torres doing exactly what he should do, controlling the center of the cage, making sure Melvin Lopez is back. He's got plenty of room to back up, and when Lopez goes for that takedown, made the mistake a couple times of trading places with him in there, and those are the times he got taken down. You see the space that he had there to move back and to kind of sprawl.
Beautiful.
You know, he hits the cage on that. That's a takedown for Melvin Lopez. Yeah. He's going to get in there. He's going to take him down. So nice correction between rounds for Isaiah Torres.
And Isaiah Torres is in the zone right now. Defense, offense.
Yeah, a good arsenal of attacks.
Oh, big connect on that uppercut.
That was probably the worst reaction he got out of Lopez yet. He's been looking for that right uppercut the whole fight, too. That was the real first clean one he landed.
Yeah, Melvin Lopez, very, very tough. Kind of stumbled back a little bit, but most fighters that would have put him on their butt.
Yeah.
So Melvin Lopez still throwing some hard kicks, still throwing some punches. His stance is a little labored, but, you know, still dangerous. And some guys, Alex, we've seen it before. Some guys, this is when they're the most dangerous. You got to think you have them staggered, and then all of a sudden this big looping right hand comes out and just bombs on your chin, and it's lights out.
That's why you got to love MMA.
Isaiah Torres is paying close attention to the clock up there.
Blood coming out of Torres' nose?
Yeah, big right hand landed a while ago on an exchange. Another right hand from Torres right there.
And there is no quit in Melvin Lopez.
Yeah, no quit at all. And you see his hands coming down just a little bit as he gets more tired. So he's fighting kind of with his hands around his waist. And Isaiah Torres is just kind of dotting him up here. He's not it. He doesn't have his guard up at all. He's to pick those hands back up. I know he's tired, but he's got to get those hands up by his chin. He's got to block some of those shots.
Big right hand again there from Torres. Coloca drops him.
Is this going to be enough? Can Torres get the finish?
Torres really sat down on that hand, came up a little short. We got just under a minute left in this third and final round. One thing, Lopez, he's wearing the damage well because he's definitely taking damage. But he actually looks less beat up than Torres.
Yeah.
Torres is definitely taking this fight. See Torres maybe throw that jab and feint into that big right knee again.
15 seconds.
You see Lopez in here trying to close that distance, get those one or two last big looping right hands in.
That calf kick hurt him.
Oh, big shots.
Man, how did Melvin Lopez survive that? That is a tough, tough dude. Wow.
I think Lopez was talking some trash.
Yeah, a little extracurricular activity there after the fight goes on, but it's a little late for that.
Yeah.
Round 3 highlights is this entertaining first pro fight of our prelims.
Yeah, and you see there in the third round, Isaiah Torres never made the mistake again of getting his back against the cage. He stayed in the center the entire time, so every takedown attempt was foiled. He had plenty of room to sprawl. Here at the end, Isaiah was, kind of landing at will, inviting him to come back in there and exchange with him, which is a dangerous proposition, but Melvin Lopez wanted no part of it.
Yeah. Both guys just gave each other a hug earlier, too. They got some respect for each other. It was a good fight.
Yeah, both guys landed some big shots. Both guys kind of stood in there and were willing to trade with the other ones until right there at that last exchange, but two warriors going at it.
Good to see Isaiah Torres, by the way, go the distance after that heel hook. See, he's fully recovered. Everything is good. Excellent stand-up on display by Torres. We'll get the official decision. Here is Wayne inside the cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision brought to you by Space City Collective. With scores of 29-27, 29-27, and 29-28, your winner by unanimous decision, Isaiah Torres!
As expected, Isaiah Torres gets the win, moves his record to 2-2 now. And his first official win here at Fury. Congratulations to Isaiah Torres.
Congrats to Melvin Lopez as well. I believe he just retired. He set his gloves down there in the Fury cage. I think that's the right choice. Good fight. He's not young, for a fighter. Thanks to for giving the fans the fun fights. There, Melvin Lopez.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Isaiah Torres' hands are going to be killing him tomorrow.
Let's go inside the Wayne.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Oscar Herrera.
Yeah, for sure. Torres' hands worked a lot tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oscar Herrera, 3-1. Third time inside the Fury cage with a 1-1 record here at Fury. Last time we saw him was at FC 59 against Marquise Johnson, Michael. and he just could never figure out the wrestling of Marquise Johnson.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do, and, you know, Oscar Herrera, I don't know if he still goes by this nickname, but remember, he was moisturizer for our first 2 times we saw Oscar Herrera.
Yeah, Moisty.
Yeah,
Moisty,
so I don't know
yeah.
if and even on Tapology, it says moisturizer. And I remember the first time we saw him, he changed it to Moisty. I don't know what either one of those means for a fighter, but whatever, man.
I don't know, man.
I remember his fight. He was 3-0 when he fought, what was his name again?
Marquise Johnson.
And I think Marquise was like 1-5.
Yeah.
It looked like Oscar thought the fight was going to be easy, but Marquise beat him everywhere. Marquise was huge for the weight class and was super skilled. And I remember as a coach, I learned to never, ever underestimate anybody. So I think he had like kind of a rude awakening in that fight. And so I'm sure he's taking his opponent in Jesus Martinez a bit more serious despite his record.
Yeah, and that's where I'm excited to see Oscar is how is he going to improve from that last fight, because that wrestling, he could just never figure out. And he took a, look, he showed a lot of heart in that. It went the distance. He took a big cut early as well in that fight and still persevered, but just could never figure out Johnson. And I want to see how he's improved on that since that fight back in March.
Yeah, and it's not like he comes from a gym with no fighters at. He comes from Factory X up in Colorado. They have a stable of fighters coming out of that gym of all kinds, wrestlers, strikers, everything. It's a Muay Thai gym primarily, but they have jiu-jitsu. They have wrestlers there that are learning to strike. So undoubtedly he has those training partners that can do that. This guy has 15 amateur fights plus his 4 pro fights. He's got a lot of experience.
Go to Wayne to meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Jesus Martinez.
Jesus Martinez making his way to the Fury FC cage for the 2nd time. No wins in the cage just yet.
Yeah, I remember his last fight here at Gilley's, and it was a fun one. It was really competitive. You know, you see his record, it says 0 for 6. It's not good. But his last fight was against another guy with a winning record, and it was really competitive. He had some great moments, and he's one of those fighters. It's all offense. You know, he'll go in there trying to win or get finished trying, or at least, you know, making a brawl trying. So
He took on Mario Suazo, the barber, remember?
Yeah.
And that finish was kind of controversial because it didn't look like he was in any kind of danger, but Aaron Menard stepped in and called it. And afterwards, both guys agreed, like, you know, it's cool. But in the moment, it just looked like Jesus had a little bit more in the tank. Our Tail of the Tape brought to you by Bump Box. The 33-year-old Jesus Martinez with the height advantage, but the reach disadvantage. Oscar Herrera with 3 inches on the reach. The 25-year-old Herrera looking to push his record to 4-1.
You got to recap on what you said, Alex. He's all offense. He's had 4 amateur fights and 6 pro fights. Never been the distance in any one of them. His either gets finished, and his one win as an amateur, he finished somebody. So this guy comes here to fight.
Let's go to Wayne for our introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by Private Label is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC Flyweight Division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 124.2 pounds. Fighting out of Zacatecas, Mexico, he holds a professional record of 3 wins, only 1 defeat. This is Oscar Moisty Herrera. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighed in at a perfect 125 pounds. Fighting out of Mesquite, Texas tonight, he seeks his first victory as a pro. This is Jesus Martinez. Your referee in charge of the action, Berchie Stillwagner.
It's only right that we have a fighter with the nickname of Moisty on our Fury FC 69 prelims. Berchie Stillwagner. First time seeing him inside the cage.
Yeah. Got a cool samurai haircut.
All right, here we go. Oscar Moisty Herrera against Jesus Martinez.
Yeah, had his hands full last time. We really haven't seen what he's all about. I was excited to see him back in the Fury cage. He's throwing a lot of kicks. It's quick.
Yeah, when we saw Joe Holmes talking to Jesus Martinez before the fight, and he said, be loose, be relaxed. Just relax in there. And actually, Jesus Martinez looks pretty relaxed. He's landing some pretty nice punches here to start the round. And he's pushing the action.
Moisty throwing a lead elbow. Ooh, big low kick was kind of checked, but still did some damage. The big thing Jesus throws is with some serious power. Oh, big hook to the liver.
Walked right into it.
Mike, I mean, like you said, all offense, he really is.
Yeah, you can see Oscar Herrera's tired of that already. He didn't want any more of those leg kicks. He didn't want any more of those punches. Took an elbow to the back and to the side of the head just a while ago.
Finishes the takedown there.
Jesus Martinez, man, at 0-6, I'm telling you right now, this dude is a savage. He just doesn't have great defense, but doesn't need it when you keep throwing punches really hard. He defends with offense.
Yeah.
And he has to deal with the backpack now of Oscar Herrera.
Herrera was on his back with the quickness.
Yeah, and again, Herrera took a few of those shots and said, enough of this. Went to take him down, wasn't able to do it, but Jesus Martinez needs to get his back up against his side, up against the cage. He needs to use the cage to keep him from being square on his back. Kind of push his body up against there, keep him from being directly behind him. Very, very difficult to finish a rear naked choke from the side, from either side.
Yeah.
So if you're at an angle at all, it's going to make it very, very difficult. He's keeping him in
left
the
arm,
back.
sneaking under.
This is deep. This is in. We're going to get attacked.
This
here.
is going to be enough. And to the ground we go. Can Oscar get the squeeze? And that is it. Oscar Herrera with the tap on Jesus Martinez.
The slam from the back, it always seems enticing, but I've almost never seen it work. I mean, every once in a while you may see a KO, but I mean, it almost always sinks the choke in deeper. It's often a desperation attempt. Quick finish here for Herrera.
Wow, what a showcasing by Oscar Herrera. Gets the tap in round one. He answered my question. I wanted to see what Oscar's going to look like after that loss to Marquise Johnson. He answered, he looks good.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man, Jesus Martinez was kind of putting it on him there for the first part of the round, and Oscar just said no more. You know, it looked like he was going to try to exchange with him. It looked like he wanted to make this an exciting fight. He wanted to make this a very fan-friendly fight, and that's always a great idea until you take a few of those shots and get your bell wrong, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to what I'm strong at. Took his back, choked him, finished the fight very, very early.
Has a big liver shot there from Jesus. Big kick.
And this is kind of the beginning of the end there for Jesus, but had some crisp striking right there in the front, whatever they're on there, and you see Oscar Herrera going very, very quickly to the back. Jesus made some technical mistakes there with him on his back, had an opportunity to get him off, wasn't able to get it, and once he got to this point, Alex, it was lights out.
Yeah.
Let's go inside the Wayne to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes 2 minutes, 14 seconds into the very first round. Declaring your winner by tap out due to a rear naked choke, Oscar Moisty Herrera.
Might have to wipe up the cage a little bit more. Got Moisty in there. Kind of sucks we can't make any more moist puns. Look at that smile. That's $1 million smile there from Oscar Herrera. Congratulations on the win. We will go to our next fight. Let's meet our next fighter. Here's Wayne Leggett.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Arion Young.
Arion Young coming off that big win against Kaleo Mahula at FC 62 during our Summer Fury back in Colorado.
Yeah, I remember him. I was waiting to see him fight again. He used a really heavy wrestling arsenal in that fight. I mean, just good takedowns, good top control time. Another guy at a Factory X. They actually got a pretty busy night. They got over 5 fights on tonight's card. And he's big. He's big for the weight class. He's a 55er and 6 foot tall. He's 19. Potential bright future for this youngster.
By the way, for those of you watching our prelims broadcast, this is going to be the final fight of this prelims broadcast. So if you are tuned in to watch Robert Garcia taking on Gabriel Calvario or Quintero McCormack, Martinez Jackson, and Burshik Washington, those are going to be swing bouts. So after our broadcast on UFC Fight Pass, we will be back here on either Facebook or YouTube for those remaining 4 fights. Let's go to Wayne to meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Solomon Amadeo.
For Fury fans, you've heard the name Solomon Amadeo a lot in the last 3.5-4 months. 4th time here in the Fury cage, 0-3. He's taking on some tough opponents. Tedrick Macklin, who we're going to see October 30th at FC 70 in Edinburgh. He's taking on Sam Kilmer and Hector Sainz. That is a murderer's row of opponents.
Yeah, all good grapplers. And I'll tell you, I don't think Aaron Young's a good matchup for him either. Aaron's got great grappling himself.
Yeah, Solomon is one of those guys that has not turned down anything since he's been here.
Our tail of the tape brought to you by Howler Head Whiskey's 5-inch reach advantage for Aaron Young against the 34-year-old kickboxer Solomon Amadeo. And Solomon, after every fight, he's like, man, I wish people would stand up with me so you can showcase it, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Here's our official introductions. Go ahead, Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by Space City Collective is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 6 feet tall and he weighed in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Inglewood, Colorado, by way of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, he holds a professional record of 3 wins, only 1 defeat. This is Aaron Young. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 6 feet tall, and he too weighed in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Makakilo in Honolulu, Hawaii, he holds a professional record of 1 win, 3 losses. This is Solomon Amadeo. Your referee in charge, Joe Coca.
Blue gloves for Young, red for Amadeo. Let's see if Amadeo can execute a game plan and showcase his stand-up. See if he's improved on his ground defense as well.
Find that sock, just don't if you want to. Just set it up.
So far, starting out with a very kick-heavy game plan. He has thrown a couple punches, but very kick-heavy. And Alex, he's making a very common mistake that we've talked about a couple times tonight. He's not setting those kicks up with punches before, and that's typically what gets him taken down.
Yeah, he was the one who clinched up there. It was a bold strategy. I mean, this is his Achilles heel, which is, you know, not a great excuse to not be very skilled on the ground in mixed martial arts, especially now. I mean, he's doing a good job. He's wall walking. See, it's that left arm, and he just to get that in a better spot. Post on the ground, frame on his face, push his knees away. You can't just grab onto guys. I mean, you're cementing their top position on you.
Yeah, you can't just grab on, especially whenever you feel him kind of corralling your legs, because this is the position that Aaron Young wants to be in. He's got those legs elevated, the heels off the ground, over the top of his calves. Makes it very, very difficult. Puts all the weight down on your butt. Basically, you can't get any weight to your feet to try to stand back up. Makes it very, very difficult.
Aaron's got a wrist ride. His right arm's behind the back, grabbing Solomon's bottom hand. Renders that arm, you know, useless to defend. And Aaron could just rain those left hands for free. the way out of the wrist ride is to expose your back, but you get your back taken. I mean, that's classic wrist ride, risk reward.
Bad position to be in for Solomon Amadeo. Can Arian Young start peppering in those shots and open something up? Amadeo in a very defensive position right now and let left arm sneaking through.
I mean, if Arian can just continue to throw those left hands, even if not really hitting the head, the ref will stop it. I mean, he's got Solzy flattened out. He's going nowhere.
Yeah, and Amadeo has done this in a couple of his fights. He doesn't really try to get out of here. Once he gets here, he just tries to cover up, and you know, they don't consider that intelligently defending yourself. You know, you have to keep fighting. He's doing a little bit better job this time, trying that Muay Thai elbow from the bottom as you're mounted.
You can't attack from the bottom.
Yeah, very ineffective. You have to, you're going to take some shots, but you have to get, yeah, this is the arm bar.
This is the arm, and that is here going to be deep. Can he finish it?
Better tap, because he will get that arm broken.
Yeah. That is it. A tap for Arian Young, and as you mentioned, Michael, he better tap because that looked nasty.
Yeah, that was a fully extended arm bar. He didn't tap to the full extension, so as you saw him change position and put that wrist underneath his armpit, that can be devastating very, very quickly, Alex.
Yeah, there was a fight where Shogun, I believe, fought Kevin Randleman and had a knee bar and tucked it behind his armpit and bridged. Man, those under the arm subs are so ugly.
Yeah, especially when you're not well versed on the ground and you're not really sure how to get out of it and kind of what the first step is. And so, you know, right away, kind of pulling the back, kind of pulling the arm over the back. That's already very, very difficult to get out of. And then once you hit the ground, you just got to start scrambling. Solomon Amadeo got to the ground here. You see the arm fully extended, not tapping to that. Here it goes to the side and underneath the armpit. Once it gets there, that can be devastating really, really fast. Looks like it may have dislocated his elbow a little bit for just a second, so I can pop back in. Not too much damage.
Let's go inside to Wayne to make this official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe Coca calls for a stop to the action. 2 minutes, 27 seconds into the very first round, declaring your winner by tap out due to an arm bar, Arian Young.
Congratulations to Arian Young getting the win. And that will do it for us on this prelims broadcast for Fury FC 69 Jones versus Cuts. We are going to go live on UFC Fight Pass at 8 p.m. That is 8 p.m. on UFC Fight Pass for a special Friday night broadcast. And the remaining 4 prelim bouts are going to turn to swing bouts. So join us here after our UFC broadcast, UFC Fight Pass broadcast. And we'll get those fights as well. So a lot of fights left on this awesome Friday night. On behalf of our production team, the entire Fury team, for Alex Morono and Michael Alexander, I'm your host, Ram Sonali. Thank you for watching. We will see you on UFC Fight Pass at 8 p.m.